And that was Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin alongside the Israeli Defense Minister giving remarks on Israel's war with Hamas. We heard the Secretary of Defense reiterating U.S. support for Israel, but also reiterating the need to protect civilians in this conflict. I want to bring in foreign correspondent Britt Clennett in Tel Aviv, Israel, along with senior White House correspondent Selina Wang for more. Selina, this is the second time that the Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is visiting Israel since October 7th. And he says that U.S. support for Israel's security is unshakable, but he also emphasized the need to protect civilians, calling it a moral duty and a strategic imperative. How significant is this trip, and what does it mean for the trajectory of the war?
Yeah, look, it's a delicate balancing act, not just for the Secretary of Defense, but for the entire Biden administration. As you say, they're both trying to project that unshakable support for Israel while also becoming more vocal about the need to protect civilians amid the devastation in Gaza. Some strong words from the Secretary of Defense there about how it is a moral imperative to protect civilians. This comes as the president himself just days before had some of his strongest criticisms of Israel, blaming, quote, indiscriminate bombing for Israel losing global support. He also had some other critical messages there. He mentioned condemning the Iranian proxies, calling out their attacks for destabilizing the region, calling on Iran to de-escalate. He also brought up the issue of hostages. This is a top priority from the president, down, all the way down. And we know that the U.S. believes there are still 8 Americans missing and that they're doing everything they can to try and negotiate another deal to get those hostages out. Now, critically, Austin also said he spoke to the Israelis about what happens when this fighting ends. Now, the U.S. has made clear they want to see a 2-state solution, a revitalized Palestinian Authority eventually ruling over Gaza. And that is something that the Prime Minister of Israel has flat out rejected. So the question is, how do they get there? Clearly still daylight between these two countries on a whole host of issues.
Britt, I want to go to you on this point about Iran and hearing the Secretary of Defense speak directly to Iran, calling on them to de-escalate these provocations by its proxies. You've seen firsthand this growing tension between Israel and Lebanon's Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah. So what's the latest on these concerns that this war could escalate beyond Gaza?
Well, as Selina said, this is a very delicate balancing act. He said that they're working to make sure the war doesn't widen, telling Iran to de-escalate, telling Israelis and Palestinians have both paid a bitter price to go back to October 7th. So, it's very clear that he's here on a mission to make sure this does not break out into a wider war. We've seen those tensions in the Red Sea. I was up in the northern Israeli border over the weekend. We saw the daily attacks fired from the Lebanese side, fired from the Israeli side. It is certainly maintaining a level of intensity, and that is a concern that if they decide to go north and push into southern Lebanon to operate in that space, then it will bring in other players in the region.
We also heard the Israeli Defense Minister talking about the humanitarian issues at bay in Gaza, but also saying the biggest one of those is the hostages that still remain. We know that the director of the CIA is joining new hostage negotiations in Europe, so we'll be watching that very closely. Britt Clennett in Tel Aviv, senior White House correspondent Selina Wang, thank you both.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.